Ooh, we got a visitor. My ginger friend, how are you? We have to keep your names anonymous, don't we? So you can be cat number 2. And your sister's the one they didn't want, so they gave them both to me for Actually, I think they wanted 50 quid for him, and it could have been 25, and I didn't have a fiver on me, so they just took 70 quid for both of them. But they were like, you want that one as well? Why would you want that one? And I'm thinking, how rude. Now, if you wonder what the other one is, she looks like Claudia. She's a calico tricolour, so there's no tabby in there, it's just black, ginger and white. And I was like, how rude, man, poor little thing. And they were obviously going to sell her, they just hadn't got round to it, and I'm thinking, fuck, you know, how unloved must this poor cat be just because it's not ginger? And that was the other weird thing, because basically they had 2 ginger cats that looked identical to me. I could not tell them apart. Now, granted, I've not seen them for 8 weeks of their life, but still. But I picked up the wrong one, which was the only one that was in the room at the time, and they were like, no, not that one, this is the one we're selling. And I'm like, what? What's wrong with him? But he was really friendly, let me pick me up. But the other one, because she hadn't been loved, she was hiding under a little nest table. But I went and picked her up, and you know, she wasn't objectionable about it. So she seemed quite happy, although it took her an extra day to, before she ever purred, that I heard. And it's good to have, you know, the brother and the sister living together, because they're going to keep the only other one from the litter, I presume, because they said there was only 3, with the mum. So I think that's only fair, and I thought that was a bit rude, actually. So here we are with Decathlon, 1983. Like I said, I've reviewed this already, but the footage was horrendous. It was a lot worse than it usually is. And I think recording at night using the artificial light is probably part of the reason. Maybe, but this is not a video camera, this is a stills camera, a very good stills camera. You can actually take pictures of Mars. Yeah, they'll look like little lentils on a black cloth. But it's fucking. But yeah, the point is, you can zoom in enough, so it's got quite a zoom on it. A bit like me in my youth. So, you know, it's worth doing it again, because I'm talking all about how nice the graphics are. You know, the graphics are small but perfectly formed, unlike Lemmings, where the graphics are, they're passable. Tiny people on restricted resolutions in computer games are not a new thing. And certainly not the most impressive I've ever seen. Try doing them in fat pixel multicolour mode on the C64, mate, 160 by 200 pixel resolution. Yeah, well they did. The little white men on the game Risk by the Edge for the C64, great Wally Bevan soundtrack on that, you should check it out. which is kind of like Drop Zone, which in itself is a rip-off of Defender, but I think you can get the anti-gravity upgrade. I think the Zap review says to you, you should definitely go for that first, and then it will be more like Defender, I suppose. But they have these little men in white suits on jetpacks, which are sort of like the enemy, Spectre kind of thing. And you have to, and the equivalent of the humans is like these animated little scientists in little white coats, which is probably who are coming for me someday soon. So yeah, I hate things like Sensi Soccer being held right up there, and fucking Lemmings. They are shit games that should have been written in BASIC. Fuck off. They're not £30 games for a system. And actually the last ones were at the time of the Amiga 1200, and the Amiga 1200 could easily do SNES style games, including the parallax. You'd only be limited to 256 pixel wide screens, because you're going to have to use one of the features of the Amiga as a background parallax layer, if you want that kind of SNES look. But you can easily do it. You can very easily have 128 plus 16 colours per line, and that's basically the trick. The Amiga AGA sprites are 64 pixels wide, and if you combine two of them you still get 16 colour sprites. So you can have the full height of the screen by 256 pixels wide in 16 specific colours that you can assign. So colours 240 to 256. Yeah, because you can set which group of 16 colours from the palette you want to use. I believe that's for even and odd numbers or something, or every other one, I'm not sure. But basically you can use that as a completely separate tile, because you can write to the sprite pointers to point to new memory locations, which will just scroll the screen for you. It's fucking piss easy, mate. It's embarrassingly easy how you would do it. They're just like enormous fucking super size fucking user defined graphics in 16 colours. And you can actually have high res and super high res sprites, so that's 640 pixel resolution across, even if the screen is 320 by 256, which is amazing. So if you're doing a horizontally parallax scrolling game, instead of skipping the scroll once 3 times out of 4 to give the illusion of a slow, smooth scroll, you can actually do it every single frame. You'll just set the precision as well. You can set to different things like high res and super high res, so it will just move them. It's like built-in anti-aliasing. It's actually amazing. No one really programmed the Amiga 1200 anywhere as good as, you know, Shadow of the Beast or Stardust. Actually, Stardust isn't that impressive once you know how the tunnel sequence is done. I'm trying to think of really impressive games now. Lotus 2. There we go, there you get some music. Even though the VCS famously cannot do the full musical scale. I bet the NES people are getting jealous now, because that's probably what the NES version sounds like. Fucking square waves, mate. They're fucking horrendous. Once you've had sine waves, you never go back. Yeah, the SID didn't have sine waves either, but had triangle waves, and you could filter it. So you could actually approximate the old sine wave even on the SID. So you've got all 4 waveforms that are a professional analog synthesizer has. So you got square waves, which are called pulse, triangle, sawtooth, and using triangle and the only filter settings you're allowed, you can actually approximate a sine wave. That's pretty good. And you've got noise. Yeah, that's just, people don't appreciate just how good the SID was. You just go and look at how much a Roland Promars cost. Although they probably weren't being made in 1981 when the SID was born, but that's basically what Bob Yanis was trying to do. The two of them, Al Charpentier and Bob Yanis, obviously were just told, look, I want a graphics chip, I want a sound chip, we're going to make an arcade motherboard, just make it happen. They were actually employees of Moss, which Jack had just acquired earlier. Now I think for Decathlon we have to have a cola type drink, and because I don't like caffeine, we're having that Dr. Pepper. And you can tell by the, I used to drink Dr. Pepper, obviously the full sugar version when I was a kid. Used to prefer it to Pepsi, which I used to prefer to Coca-Cola. That's the order that it went. But now, probably because everyone has changed their fucking recipe since like the 70s, Pepsi, I'm sure, are constantly tinkering with theirs. And Coke, yeah, we all know what happened with the Coke Classic business. Yeah, you can have the version that we were selling before that doesn't taste like shit. We'll just call it Classic. But the new one is total wank, don't bother. And that's exactly what it's like with computers today. They're called classic computers, but in reality, Commodore 64 is fucking faster than the fastest PC you could ever build. Will take you less than 5 seconds to work out the VAT from switching the computer on. 5 seconds to knowing the VAT for, I don't know, something you've just seen on a list for a wholesaler because you're a businessman. You just cannot do that. It takes fucking 5 seconds for the stupid logo to fade out before things start, and then you get that stupid spinning circle. Microsoft don't get the buffering, in quotes, which you can't see, I'm doing the quotes. The buffering meme is not funny. It's like, yeah, we're shit, but fuck you. You've got no choice. It's this or a £900 more Apple using the same fucking Dell hardware. Exactly, mate. What a fucking joke Apple became. See, Apple, the cunts, when the Amiga 4000 was out, which means the Amiga 4000 with the 040 processor, not the later, cheaper model with the 030, which was useless. They should have put a 40 megahertz 020 in there for the same price, because they run at the same speed pretty much, and the MMU doesn't exist and is not used anyway by Kickstart or Workbench. So it's all bollocks, mate. All computers today are shit, and tablets and phones are even fucking worse. Let's start playing this. Now, if I have uploaded the footage of this, what you definitely will know is my poor Commodore joystick. Here we go. Which is a total rip-off of the ATARI joystick, but if you were left-handed, see, the button's right in the middle. Classically. And before you moan about dirty fingernails, I just finished doing some fucking sanding and filling in the walls that I'm plastering on probably the hottest day of the year so far. So screw you. So yeah, it's exactly like Decathlon as I had on the C64. Press fire button, waggle the joystick, ignore all the comments about, are you going to play Stroker with the Commodore joystick? Which is quite funny, don't get me wrong, but it's inappropriate. I'm not homophobic, nor am I homosexual. Sorry for all the Omid the Jalili homosexual fans. Now I suppose that would be your dream date, wouldn't it? Well, sorry, I can't help you with that, mate. So yeah, I was saying on that one, I don't want to knacker out the fucking joystick. Scratch my bollocks, I believe was a comment that I made. So you got to run as fast as you can, and I can't see how you could get any fucking faster than this. Oh, for fuck's sake, and I accidentally pressed the button because you fucking... And this joystick is very similar to the ATARI VCS, that's why I actually chose it, but they're incredibly uncommon, which means people have decided they're extremely expensive in any condition, working or not. So a mint condition one would be a really stupid price. But this one, you know, the top half's been chewed off by someone's dog or kid or whatever, see? There you go. That rubber boot, which is actually a harder rubber, and it is a fucking triangle shaft, not an octagonal shaft like the VCS, so it's very odd. So you end up holding it at a like 30-degree angle, otherwise it's not comfortable. And it's not comfortable whichever way you hold it, clockwise or anti-clockwise, 30 degrees, not quite 45, but, and you can't hold it from the top because the dog's chewed the top of the boot, but it works, and it's a similar sort of level of knackeredness, copyright me, to what my VCS joystick would have been like in 1983. I remember actually trying to play a really early game with my VCS joystick, and the only other joystick I had was the one I got with my VIC-20 just before the C64, and that was a Point Master joystick. So the shaft on that was ridiculously long, like them, you know, 80s or 70s lorries, yeah, like that, mate, or, you know, transit van from the 70s, that sort of stupidly long gear stick sort of thing. So yeah, anyway, I don't want to fucking break this thing, because this one actually works. And it's about as knackered as my bloody VCS joystick would have been by 1983 when this came out. So there is a point to all this bullshit I'm talking about. If you actually listen closely, probably with a couple of Pro Plus pills with a fucking espresso chaser. Warning. I don't know if you can actually take 2 Pro Plus pills. It may only be 1. Do not overdose on that shit. Not responsible. Must consult your doctor before taking 2 Pro Plus, as well as the instructions from the manufacturer. So here we go, shot put. Sort of looks like a bloke in a dark red kilt with an orange sweatshirt on. No hoodie though. With a backpack on it, actually. Pink legs, mate, well, you don't get a lot of sunshine in Scotland anyway. So again, knackering the joystick, stroke knackering your ZX. Oh fucking hell, I thought I was going to start scrolling pay attention, man. What I didn't say in the last review was I actually got the silver medal for shot put at my secondary school. So yeah, I'm going for the record again. I think we just got it. 733 points. Yeah, so, you know, the school games at the end of the year, I don't know what they called them now, they were just called the school games. It was a half day, and basically that half day was spent watching the entire event. So you liked it, even if you had to put up with it, but if you weren't actually in it, I can imagine loads of people at my school did bunk off, which is wrong, because, you know, you end up like the human cannonball geezer. That's the kind of job you're going to end up getting. So yeah, do your work. I can't remember what we were fucking playing now. Missed. It didn't move. I didn't see anything move there. There was no animation on the hurdles. You can see the chalk dust. Ooh. Telling me that I'm second. Oh, no, actually. That was my second bloody attempt. No, hang on a minute. Because it's still saying first now. This is a completely different event. No. I needed to scratch my arse, sir. Sorry. I thought if I rub it on the bloody pole. Hang on, how many times is it going to make me do this bloody shit? For fuck's sake, missed. It's doing bog standard collision detection. I say fuck you. Why put the collision detection in the code to such an accurate level if you're not actually going to put anything in the code to do something? You know, give us a little graphical effect. Make the fucking bar come off. You know what I mean? Fuck's sake. Yeah, I had enough of this. Whatever this thing is, just go away now. Yeah, it's cool. Something else now. Yeah, some cats in the video. Oh no, bloody 400 metre dash. Yeah, this is when I said, nah, I'm not gonna fucking knacker my joystick doing this one. See, on summer games too, in the cycling event, you had to rotate your joystick around the eight positions possible on the joystick in a clockwise manner in time to the animation on screen. Yeah, those spots in the back don't seem to move any quicker. This is probably what I'd be like at long distance running now. Just add a wheezing sound effect by 200 metres. But yeah, when I was a teenager, mate, I used to run, and I mean run, I don't mean just go as fast as I can, I mean like as if you're doing a 100 metre sprint, probably from maybe 150 metres, trying to work out how wide them bloody houses were. So I used to run, it was just like a game, you know what I mean? It was like a challenge, because I run all the way from my mate's house to my house. Which means, very importantly, although this is not a specific reason I remember for doing it, yeah, you know what, I'm talking too much bollocks. Let's do the hurdles because the animation is quite good. Oh right, you have to actually start running. See, look, the animation for the things is actually quite good. I don't know why it's jumping like that, because I'm not touching the fire bar. Looks a bit like a fucking ballerina. And you know what bollocks, just fucking, because I don't want to kill my joystick. But yeah, I mean, Decathlon on the C64 looks different, sounds different. Put the sound up a little bit. This is a fucking unusually quiet VCS game. Don't know how they hacked the volume control. Buddy, what you doing? Ah, see, you moved the camera now and it's gone out of focus. Oh shit. I might have been out of focus for ages actually. Why has it gone out of focus? Come on, you asshole. Focus. Must be at a particular point that likes to refocus. Ginger, you won't like it. Look, cats don't like this. See? That's why you shouldn't drink fizzy drinks. If cats don't drink them. Oh man, it looks like it's dancing, innit? Just need the Saturday Night Fever music there and the whole thing slowed down. I would do things like that, but what you have to remember is these files are created as MOV files. I don't know what the specific codec is inside that wrapper, but I presume it would be something you can plug into a Mac and use straight away on iMovie. Well, on Windows, I tried two of the best free video editors recommended that actually had like a timeline view, because that's how I'm used to using it, because that's how Camtasia does it. And they don't support MOV files. Isn't that fantastic? They don't support H.264, full stop. H.264 is something that websites use, you know. So, yeah. I'm sure the YouTube videos they're not HEVC anyway. They're either X264, H.264, which, you know, most MP4s are H.264, I think. So yeah, you're gonna moan, yeah, bloody camera records in MOV files, how bloody fashionista, you know, trying to sell to the Mac brigade. And these don't support it, which I think is really bad. You can't be voted the best if you don't support the H.264 codec. That's a pretty big part of every fucking MP4 file that's ever been put out there. So you're fucked really, and the reason I have to do that is because the camera does actually record in 50 frames per second, but the editor software that I use for all my other videos is the one that comes with Camtasia, and that don't support faster frame rates that I've ever seen on any setting for any format video file output more than 30 frames per second. You can go up to 30 frames, which is odd because even though it's not a drop down menu option, you can actually type in 50 frames into the box, hit enter, and then it will capture 50 frames. I've checked that. So yeah, now I bet you the Camtasia software doesn't support MOV files either. So even if I wanted to use that, not only do I have to now take these really rubbish quality MOV files in, you know, super VGA resolution, because it makes sense. 640 by 480 is pretty close to double the resolution of the kind of things I'm showing you, NES, ATARI. So yeah, and before you wonder, no, I didn't do the discus, only the shot put. That was enough for me. It was like Jeff in Chuck, where he's like a hero because he gets a high score on Missile Command, and then, you know, you see him later, and that's quite funny. That's probably like me. Yeah, if Jeff was played by a reboot of Chuck by Omid Jalili with a lot of post-processing to obviously make him look younger, maybe, possibly more hair. I don't know, I don't want to diss the guy, he's very funny. He's actually the jailer in The Mummy. Yeah, I think that's his biggest role. But he has made some films of his own. One where he was adopted is quite funny. That's like a British film, filmed in London. So here we go, the javelin. And I remember saying before, how the hell do they draw the javelin? These two, and I couldn't do this one, it kept saying missed. I think basically you have to run faster to get higher up on the pole, which is what all pole dancers should do. Run from that job. I'm going to check that now. No, he's there. But you can't leave it any later. So this was one where I was saying you end up making the same mistake regardless of how fast or slow you go, or thinking that and maybe not saying it. No, I couldn't do it any faster anyway, so I'm knackering out the bloody Commodore joystick now, fuck's sake. £0. Well, I'm having Dr. Pepper 0, so... And it's another one. This resolution is higher than the resolution that the VCS can actually draw the background graphics, the tile graphics, the bitmap, and not the sprite. So this has to be a sprite. But it's, I don't know, is it a very, very complex multiplex missile? I don't think they would use a full sprite for that. But on the C64 you'd have to. So they use the sprites in such a way, racing the beam, multiplexing, and they will draw with one tiny dot. I can't, it says player missiles. Ball sprite, that could be the ball sprite. So anyway, talking over, Commodore joystick had a little bit of a rest, and you know what, that's good enough. I wish I could just fire off the javelin and be done with it like now. Yeah, good. See, I'd rather have this thing still work at least like a knackered VCS joystick I had left over, you know, 3-4 year old VCS joystick from when I got my C64. So yes, it's good that it still works, because I tried to play Manic Miner with this fucking VCS joystick on the C64. Now you go and play that later, much later, with you know, the zip stick, I think Euromax, the one with the yellow square buttons, micro switch, fire buttons, and you know, arcade quality actual joystick mechanism, micro switches, metal shaft. I would have preferred the ball on the top to be bigger, Yeah, maybe they were going for the 10-year-old market, and by then I was in my late teens when I think they started coming out. I didn't see them until I had an Amiga. So you're talking 1987. I don't remember ever buying one from my Atari ST gaming days, but then again, I can't remember playing Atari ST games with my QuickShot 2 joystick. Which is like the hand grip on a jet fighter plane with a trigger button, like in Airwolf when he does the cannons. But and it had auto fire, I think. Is it QuickShot Turbo or Turbo 2? Or QuickShot 2 Turbo, I think that's what it was. If I ever see a new old stock one of them, I'm going to buy that. That for me is an important part of my C64 gaming heritage. I want to re-experience how I used to play them things. Oh, this is some sort of running event. What is this? What is this? Oh, it is, see? Just to keep your speed, you don't have to do it that often. So if you really had a brand new joystick and you had loads of them, and you didn't care if you broke one or ruined one, and by ruined one I mean it might be a lot harder to go up and down now than go left and right when you're trying to play something like, I don't know, Zaxxon. Oh, actually Zaxxon didn't come out on this in 3D isometric. Yeah, that was a fucking... Yeah, well, the VCS hasn't got hardware scrolling at all. All of it is done by this, manipulating the raster lines. I thought this is, how many fucking, is this 1500 meters or something? See, I should have paid attention. How many fucking meters is it? Oh man. Yeah, I couldn't do that, but I could run, at maximum possible speed from my mate's house past 50 other houses to my house on the same road. Now, I did that obviously to make sure I wasted as little time as possible travelling between C64 gaming sessions. If I walked, that's 10 minutes. See, if I run, go straight to my room, switch on the C64 and press play on the tape, because I always rewound my tapes, so they're all ready to load to play again. Unless I didn't like a game, like Vegan Attack, probably loaded that once, thought this is fucking shit, I couldn't be bothered to rewind the stupid tape. So it probably went straight back in the cassette box, never used again, but the tape has not been rewound. So that means if someone had that tape, which they wouldn't because it's buried in a landfill, which I know is a bit of a joke, E.T. buried in the landfill bullshit, but that actually happened to me. I moved countries, thousands of miles away, and worked there for a year. I said to some relatives, you're going to look after this stuff, so they put them in my grandparents' home, and all my stuff, every computer game and electronic gaming sort of toy, console, handheld electronic toys, all that crap, right up to my Amiga 1000 and 2000. Yeah, I think that was probably yeah, to around 1990 anyway, 1989, 1990, that sort of thing. And it's all gone. It's all, because as soon as my poor grandparents kicked the bucket, it was like, well, yeah, we keep it, and then it's just like, nah, we chucked it all away, which I think is bollocks, because even a C64 was selling well in that country in that year. Yeah, the Amiga was the elite system by the mid-90s. So, you know, I don't have my actual copy anymore of Vegan Attack, but I know for a fact if that hadn't happened and I'd kept it or sold it and someone else had kept it, if you tried to load it, it's basically the tape right where the last few bits are loaded in to the memory before the game is run. That section of tape is really knackered because it's been exposed and it's a completely different condition to the rest of the tape, probably. So it's like, it's probably going to load like 99% of the way and then just go and you're fucked. So by doing that, I killed it, and that game would never have been able to load again if some collector had it and then 3 decades later tried to load it after being passed on to other people on eBay. Fuck knows, mate. But I killed it. I made sure, subconsciously, I must have thought to myself, every physical copy of this game on any format in existence must be destroyed. It's a horrible game. That's fucking Vegan Attack. So, was this the 1,000 meters? Which, you know, a snail would have done by now after all that bullshit I've just been talking about whilst having my smoke, my roll up. I don't smoke cigarettes. Cigarettes is for posh people. Well, it used to be when I was a kid. Roll-ups was for people who couldn't afford cigarettes. Actually, that was true. Ooh, that's probably true in the 90s. In the late 90s, actually. All the price increases of everything, especially rent. Never mind like your gas and lecky bills, mate. Yeah, if I was actually physically able to run this distance, you know what, I'd be just like, in my head, I would have to be somewhere else because it would just be so boring. Be like an autopilot when you're on the motorway. Oh fuck me, it is 1,500 metres. I must have gone fucking nuts when I saw that. Oh bloody hell, I'm curious now to know how the hell. Oh man, I must have been like, I wonder if I just said fuck this. Just left it. Just stopped doing the review there. Review in the most vague sense of the word. I'll give you some sprinklings of wisdom and points of view and opinion. Nah, imagine, fucking hell man, if you was a joystick manufacturer, you'd have nightmares about this fucking section. It is 1,500 fucking metres. I'm gonna have to go and watch what I was bloody doing. Yeah, these files don't have to take up a lot of space for fucking 640 by 480. I know they're 50 frames per second. So that actually is double what you usually have. Summer Games music. Actually, there was a game that I thought one day I'm gonna have to play that. It's quite impressive on the gameplay videos, and I think it might have been Winter Games or Summer Games on the VCS. I can't remember it. It was definitely on the VCS, and it was a sports game, but I think it was a multi-genre